I love The Legend of Zelda. Ever since I was a little kid, the Legend of Zelda franchise was always my favorite. I don't know why, but the world and characters just captivated me. Like, look at this guy! Isn't he just the coolest? Oh! And don't even get me started on the games! Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess? Iconic. Wind Waker? Arguably the best. And Majora's Mask? It changes you. But there are Zelda games that nobody talks about. Now you might be thinking, yeah, the CDI games, those were the worst with their awful voice acting and nonsensical animation. But that's low-hanging fruit. And even then, they're fun in an ironic sort of way. Okay, then what about freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land? You know, the game that was only released in Europe and Japan, but not America due to the backlash Tingle got the American audiences. And to that, I say, you made up like half of those words. Like, what the hell is a Europe? No, what I'm talking about is something that only a dumb kid on the internet circa 2010 would experience. Imagine, if you will, you just got done watching the latest Zelda Month video by Peanut Butter Gamer, and you think to yourself, man, I would love to play some Zelda right now. Sadly, my frontal lobe still needs a few more years before I can start thinking logically, and this boomerang puzzle is way too hard for me. If I want to play some Zelda, I'm gonna have to. The Legend of Zelda and the Lampshade have no real significance, or just Zelda Lampshade, was uploaded to Newgrounds in 2005 by the Super Flash Brothers. Not to be confused with Super Smash Flash, which was made a year later in 2006. The game follows the classic Zelda protagonist, Link, who after defeating the Lampshade Guardian by, unplugging it, needs to return the titular lampshade to the Light Temple. It's a lot harder than it sounds. You see, I never actually beat this game as a kid. Why? Well, I couldn't read! I came in expecting to slice up bad guys or something, but instead, I got the Epic of Gilgamesh. But now, as I'm older and debatably more mature, I think I have what it takes to finish this game. Hey, I said I think, I didn't say I knew. Okay, so we exit the well, and we end up in the land of Scoliosis. We're in Scoliosis Town. Okay, so this guy Randy is guarding the path to the Temple of Light, but here's the thing. He's hungry for some McDonald's, so I go to the McDonald's, but as it turns out, this ginger guy bought the last burger.
Gingers have souls!
But there's this other guy, Dim, who's actually one of the Super Flash Brothers. And he needs Randy's advertising money that he gave us. We give it to him, and he makes an oh-so-witty comment that really shows this game's age.
Thanks. Now I can buy a revolution.
Did you know? Before the Wii was called the Wii, it actually went by the codename Revolution. And before I was called Kazi, I went by the codename that weird kid who keeps trying to convince people that you can unlock Geno in Brawl. That name stuck around way too long. Anyways, now we get Dim's hair products. With these, we go back to the McDonald's and give them to Mr. Metroid from Halo, who in return gives us their Happy Meal toy with this tiny extreme iron, which I'm sure is either a hilarious reference or also random. We then head to the cemetery and find Heihachi from Tekken, but also Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Heihachi just wants to die due to the milking of his franchise. So we kill him and steal his vase. The vase can be used to get water from a well, which is then splashed onto this guy blocking the door, who doesn't wake up. But we do get a frog from the well, which is cute. Aww. The frog is then eaten by Big Boss from MGS3. Tasty. As thanks for the meal, he gives us tiger face paint that we can give to Kirby. For perfect Kirby! Kirby gives us his iconic taser, which we use to straight up just, murderize this poor fella. Anyways, we bring him to his house, steal his stuff, and return to Dante from
he's based.
and give him a gun. A toy gun, but hey, it's the thought that counts. He gives us a shovel, we dig up a body, return to the McDonald's, give it to Randy, kill Randy, and bada bing, bada boom. I've done something my younger self would be so proud of. My younger self didn't have a lot of things going on back then, okay? He fully believed Mario Galaxy DS was a real thing back then, okay? He was not bright. Now that I finished the game, it's time to ask myself, was it worth it? Was it worth all those hours I spent as a kid slamming my face into every wall, wondering what I was supposed to do, despite it only being like, what, 10 minutes long? Gameplay-wise, it's just your average Zelda trading quest, and that's not a bad thing. This game is less about delivering a proper Zelda experience and more about celebrating the community it exists within. From 2005 to 2010 is what I would call the peak era of video game-based parodies, all of which seem to originate from Newgrounds. Spread throughout the game are references to major games from the time and people from the Newgrounds community. Richie Zerbis, who I think is probably most known for his perfect Kirby parody series, Legendary Frog, whose most iconic video is his Final Fantasy parody, and most importantly to me is Rubber Ninja, who is responsible for Game Overs, Derpcraft, my personal favorite, Gamer Tonight. I believe out of all of these cameos, he retains the most amount of relevance due to him being a big figure in the animation and VTubing community on YouTube. Nowadays, he goes by Rubber Ross. Sure, the parodies may seem low quality now, but you can't say they weren't made out of a passion for the things they loved and joked about. The Super Flash Bros have actually gone on to make quite the legacy for themselves. If, at any point, you wondered if their names sounded familiar, then there's a chance you might actually recognize them as the people behind the Nintendo Switch launch title, Snipperclips. Isn't that crazy? Years ago, they were making little joke games based on Nintendo properties, but now? They made one! Zelda Lampshade might not be a legitimate Zelda game, but I think the impact it's had is just as real as the actual games. There are millions of people with memories of this game. Go to the comments and see how many people are talking about how nostalgic it is. Hell, this person even remade it in the style of the Game Boy Zelda games. With all of that out of the way, I think I'm pretty confident in calling this the Forgotten Zelda game. See what I did there?